So welcome our course uploading stage, and at this stage we are going to be creating our course curriculum. So to not waste a lot of your time, I actually went ahead and created curriculum already. But don't worry, I'm going to be explaining how I did it, why I did it, and what stages that I took in order to create the curriculum. So basically, everything that you need to do in curriculum, you already done. You already did it. In the preparation stage, you know exactly what sections you wanted to create, you know exactly what the lectures you wanted to create. But now what you need to do in order to basically transform it into actually Udemy course is you need to actually, well, put it in your curriculum on your Udemy course. So first thing that you need to do is, of course, go to your course itself and go to curriculum right here. This is where you access your curriculum and create all the sections that you want. So sections, as you can see, I'm going to be turning off the dark mode for you to be easily visible. The sections are actually the ones, the sections are actually these large squares. These are the sections, and each one of the sections contains smaller squares, which are your lectures. In order to create a section, just make sure that this plus sign appears on a white spot right here, or basically outside of every square, and all you need to do is just press it plus and new section will appear. You can enter the section name and description. Now the section title is, of course, it should explain exactly what it is. I'm going to just cancel this because we don't want this. It should explain exactly what the section title is. However, the description is actually not as necessary as you might think. If you will write the description of a section, it will be better for you and for your students. However, I usually don't, because usually the texts like this are not read by students a lot, and I'm not wasting my time on crafting those, and I'm not wasting students' time reading those. I rather prefer to explain everything in lectures. However, if you think that it will be beneficial for you and for your students to actually write the section description, do it 100% and try to fill it out as much as possible. For description, you have 200 characters you can fill out. In order to create the lectures, all you need to do is press plus within this square. When you press the plus, it will create the lecture. And it will create the lecture in a position where the plus will actually appear. When it will appear, you can select something like this. You can select lecture, quiz, coding exercise, practice test, or assignment. So in our case, we need a lecture. All you need to do is just press lecture and the lecture will be created, and we have something like that. So in a lecture, you have an actual content of a lecture, which my face is actually covering, what you can add. You have lecture title, of course, which you can just edit anytime you want. You have also, let me just open it. You have also a description of a lecture and resources of a lecture. So description is when you press it, you can understand it's basically exactly the description of the lecture. Again, if you want to fill it out, you can. I myself don't, because I have yet to see a student who requested the physical text description of a lecture. They don't need that. They never requested it, and that's why I'm never filling it out. If you think that it will be beneficial for your course, again, do it. But for me, I feel it for my courses and for my students, it's a bit of waste of time on their end, because they don't want to sit down and read stuff. They want to get to action. That's what I want, first things first. And the only way to go directly to action is actually to consume the content. However, if I have something that I need to clarify with a description, I do it here. Next is resources. Don't mistake resources with the course content. Content itself, which we're going to cover in a bit, is the lecture itself. The resources are additional resources of a lecture. Here you can upload a downloadable file and you can read everything. Basically, it can be a practice file. Maybe if you're creating some kind of design things or Photoshop, let's say you're teaching in Photoshop, you can add a Photoshop file and upload this in order for them to actually use it for themselves. You can actually use this. Then you can add from a library. Basically, you can add from library. Basically, you can get an additional external link or whatever download file you've already created. External resource, basically, that's a link that you want to include. Or be very careful with that, because you are allowed to include only strictly educational links that does not collect any information about people in these resources. For example, if you go to a website and it requires registration, you are not allowed to have it right here. And last but not least is source code. Basically, if you are teaching Python or Ruby, you can actually upload the source code files right here. So now what about the content itself? Content button is right here. My face is actually covering it right here. And all you need to do is just press it and you can upload actually a video. You can upload video and slide mashup, or you can upload articles. I've never used video and slide mashup, to be fair, and I cannot talk about this. I've never used it. I usually use either video or article. So it's pretty self-explaining what this means. Video is basically whatever we've been creating, you can upload it here. An article is basically if you have a PDF file as a lecture, you can upload PDF files here as well. You are allowed to do that. You don't need only videos to do that. Well, you require the videos to need at least 30 minutes of videos for the Udemy courses, but you can actually upload articles as lectures here as well, and you can do it right here. Well, that's basically all about the curriculum. I don't have anything at the moment because I haven't finished the course. I'm still making this course right at this moment, and I don't have every video finished. But as you can see, I have finished them in a clear and distinct stages that you've been consuming. It's a clear and distinct introduction to the course with introductory lecture, disclaimer lecture, and before you will start the lecture. Then you have clear stage 1 section, which is all about the course planning. Then you have a clear stage 2 section, which is all about the course recording. Basically, when you're done with this stage, you basically know everything that you need to know about course planning. So now you basically know the large chunk of the big topic itself. Then the same here, you will know exactly what you need to do for the course recording. And same here about the editing of the courses. And last but not least, the content that you're consuming right now. It's kind of meta, but yeah, the content that you're consuming right now is all about uploading on Udemy. Last will be the conclusion, and very last will be the extra if I'll have the bonus. At the moment, I don't have anything prepared, but you will see it right here. Well, I'd have prepared, but you will see it at the very end if I will need it right here. Be very careful with an extra and bonus lecture. In a bonus lecture, you can add the external links that requires registration, or for example, you can add your additional products from other services. You can add it in the resources right here. If you open right here and if you add the resources, you can add some additional extra content and extra goods here, but make sure that you will name it something, it will be the very last section, the last lecture. Section should be named something like extra or additional things or things like that. And the lecture itself should called bonus. This is a Udemy rules that you need to follow, at least at the moment of the recording of the course. Well, this will be all about the curriculum. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science. It's exactly what it is in front of your face. Just open it and fill it out entirely. That's what you will need to do, and make sure that you structure your course and use your course structure that you planned before well right here at this stage. So this will be it for this lecture. Let's move on to the next one.